start. Some people talk rather loosely and, if I may say so, rather foolishly of India becoming the leader of this or the leader of that or the leader of Asia. Now, I do not like that at all. It is a bad approach. This business of leadership, but it is true that because of the various factors I have mentioned, a certain special responsibility is cast on India. India realizes it and other countries realize it also. The responsibility is not necessarily for leadership but for taking the initiative sometimes and helping others to cooperate. Now, foreign policy is normally something which develops gradually. Apart from certain theoretical propositions we may lay down, it is a thing which, if it is real, has some relation actuality and not merely to pure theory. Therefore, we cannot precisely lay down our general outlook or general approach, but gradually it develops. We are, as an independent country, a fairly young country at present, although we are a very ancient country and we have all the advantages and disadvantages of being an ancient country. Nevertheless, in the present context of foreign policy, we are a young country and therefore our foreign policy is gradually developing and there is no particular reason why we should rush in all over the place and do something that comes in the way of this gradual development. As I said, our general policy has been to try to cultivate friendly relations with all countries, but that is something which anyone can say. It is not a very helpful thought. It is almost outside, if I may say so, of politics. It may be just a verbal statement or a moral urge. It is hardly a political urge. Nevertheless, something can be said for it even on the political plane. We cannot perhaps be friendly always with every country. The alternative is to become very friendly with some and hostile to others. That is the normal foreign policy of a country, very friendly with close relations with some, with the consequence that you are hostile to others. You may be very friendly to some countries and you cannot just be equally friendly with all countries. Naturally, you are more friendly with those with whom you have closer relations, but that great friendliness is good if it merely reflects hostility to some other country, then it is something different. May I say that I do not for an instant claim any superior contact point for India to advise or criticize the rest of the world. I think we are merely trying not to get excited about these problems, and anyhow, there is no reason why we should not try. It follows, therefore, that we should not align ourselves with what are called power blocks. We can be of far more serious without doing so, as I think there is just a possibility that at a moment of crisis, our peaceful and friendly efforts might make a difference and avert that crisis. If so, it is well worth trying. When I say that we should not align ourselves with any power blocks, obviously it does not mean that we should not be closer in our relations with some countries than with others. That depends on entirely different factors, chiefly economic, political, agricultural, and many other factors. At the present moment, you will see that, as a matter of fact, we have far closer relations with some countries of the Western world than with others. It is partly due to history and partly due to other factors, present day factors of various kinds. These close relations will no doubt develop, and we will encourage them to develop, but we do not wish to place ourselves in a position where, politically speaking, we are just lined up with a particular group or bound up to it in regard to our future foreign activities. India is too big a country herself to be bound down to any country, however big it may be. India is going to be and is bound to be a country that counts in world affairs. Not, I hope, in that military sense, but in many other senses which are more important and effective in the end. Any attempt on our part, that is the government of the day, here to go too far in one direction would create difficulties in our own country. I would be resented, and we would produce conflicts in our own country which would not be helpful to us or to any other country, while remaining quite apart from power blocks. We are in a far better position to cast our weight at the right moment in favor of peace, and meanwhile, our relation can become as close as possible in the economic or other domain with such countries with whom we can easily develop them. So, it is not a question of our remaining isolated or cut off from the rest of the world, but we do not wish to be isolated. Stop.